Welcome back, guys. Alex Louis here. Today, what I want to show you is how to interact your component class in expressions, using expressions and interacting back and forth. So, a couple things I'm going to do today is first, I'm going to show you how to access your properties in an expression, which we've kind of done that already on the previous lectures. And then the other thing I want to do is I actually want to write a function and call that function from my HTML view file that is related to, or it's coupled with my component. So the power of Angular is that you have a model, which is your component, and then you can directly use that model in expressions within your Angular HTML view file. And I'm going to show you that how easy it is right now. Okay, so let's create a couple of properties here. We'll call speed vehicle, and I've started here already, and we'll call new speed. String is hypersonic, and new vehicle string is plain. And we're gonna use these in a little bit. We're going to create a function that'll click and swap between these property values. The other thing I want to do is I want to create a lowercase and an uppercase function. And we're going to use these directly on the template URL file, and then we're going to call our functions directly from the model, which allows us to quickly interact with it. There's no bridge that we have to write. The bridge is already there. Okay, so we're gonna say that upper is equal to function, and then we have any. So this is our function name, and this is a parameter, and this is a type. So any is basically similar to a variable. Data type could be anything that could be passed in. And then we'll say that str, whatever's coming in, is dot to uppercase, and then we'll return the string back. And then we'll also have a lower function. We'll call this any, and then we can just say return str dot to lowercase, and do that. Now the point here is that we're going to write our functions in the component itself, and then we're going to call these functions within our HTML template. So now we're going to have the expressions interact with the model. Model means this file here, the component TypeScript class file. Alright, so I've already started that where I'm saying directly accessing variables in the component. So these variables in my model, which is vehicle and speed, are going to be set from what I've set them here. Now I could have done this in a constructor, or I could have done this here. Well, as when I initialize the properties, either way is fine. And you'll see that here I have already the values slow and train. So those values are already binded. Now what I want to do is I want to call these functions from within my template, and very easy to do that. Okay, so now what I've done is within my expression I've called my model function called lower. I take the speed property, which is defined here, and I'm just setting everything to lowercase. So now if I go back, let's try what happens here. Is there an error? Oh, file save all. Let's do that. Something's going on here. Okay. Okay, so if I go back, I just had to recompile this, that's all. I had to restart, and then I also noticed that I had an error here. Just got to call the function using parentheses. So now I'm passing in upper. I pass in a string, and then upper gets passed in. It gets called on the model side, and it returns back in uppercase, as you see here. Okay. So that was a success. We were able to call our functions within our expressions. Now the next thing I want to show you is how to actually use a click function. And we can bind an event to that, to the click on the view. So we can write that real quick. Give me just 1 minute. Okay, so we've made a click event here. So if we look at our code, we're saying that we want to click to change to fast, and then we use the property name new vehicle. New vehicle is coming from the model here, which is plain. If we go back to our HTML file, we also have a function. Now we're using a click event here, click directive, and what this is doing is it's using the angular click, which is the standard to use to call our functions in the model side, where we're going to call a function called setValues. Now of course that function has not been defined yet. So we're going to define it now. We're going to pass in two parameters, a speed and a vehicle. So let's do that. So we're going to go over here. And we're going to say that this is setValues is equal to function speed any and vehicle any. And then this dot speed is going to equal whatever's coming in, and this dot vehicle is going to equal whatever's coming in. So whatever's coming in as a parameter is going to be assigned to our property, our class property here, which is speed and vehicle as well. And that will automatically change the value of what we have here. So this button allows us to change click to change to fast plane. So if I click on this, then there'll be a change over here to my properties. Instead of saying slow train, now it's going to say fast plane. So let's give it a try. So I save all. Let's refresh this. Okay, so if I click on this, so see that? Now notice how fast plane that changed, right? Because now again, we'll go back to the component. We're changing the properties which are being accessed or being rendered over here. And now we're also changing the property. It's also going to propagate here because we're also using the same property name in this particular line, line 4, when we're calling our function in our expression. Now for us to change it back, I'd have to create another function which would change it back to my original slow train, which is my original one. So that would be pretty easy to do. So what have I shown you here? I've shown you how to call a function from an expression, which we're doing here. And then the other thing I've showed you is how to create a click event where we are calling a function directly from the model, which we've defined here, and we're manipulating the properties within the model. And in terms of the abstraction of how we're thinking about developing Angular apps, is we're no longer dealing with the DOM directly. Whenever you want to change values within the HTML, we're actually, most of the time, we're going to do it at the property level. So you're going to have this idea that we are going to have properties, and these properties are accessible at the HTML level, which we can manipulate. And we no longer have to think about using span tags, and I want to access the DOM tag, span, and then change the HTML. Kind of like a jQuery-ish mindset, where you won't really have to do that here with Angular, which is what makes it so powerful. Because now we can directly access properties, and these properties are accessible within our view. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're starting to kind of look at the approach of Angular versus other libraries that you've used in the past. And you can click subscribe as well, or give me a like, or give me a comment. Let me know if there's anything that you think I missed over, and then I can explain in the comments below. Thanks.